everybody. Warm welcome to Amazing You podcast and YouTube channels, the channels where stories of resilience, triumph, and unwavering hope come to life. And in each episode, we dive into the inspiring journeys of individuals who have faced the toughest challenges heads on and emerge victorious. Our aim is to be a beacon of inspiration, offering a guiding light to those navigating through difficult times. And whether you are dealing with health challenges, professional setbacks, or personal struggles, this channel is dedicated to uplifting your spirit and showing you that even in the darkest moments, there is a path to hope and triumph. So be prepared, everybody, to be inspired and to find the strength to navigate life challenges. I am your host. My name is Dr. Rani Thanacoody. I am a clinical hypnotherapist, Mars Venus life and relationship coach, astrologer, tarot reader, and life force compassion practitioner. And today, I have the immense pleasure to introduce you to a very special lady that I have met not very long ago, a few weeks ago. And she managed to find the time to speak to you today, despite her busy schedule at this time of the year. Her name is Cassie from Oraphim. Cassie is an author and an artist, and her latest book is called Shungite, Expect Miracles. So warm welcome, Cassie, to Amazing You.
Oh, thank you so much for having me today.
I really appreciate, because I know how busy you are and that you decided to give your time to the audience. I am very grateful for that. And my first question to you, would you please tell us briefly about your story and what has brought you to become an author and also to be involved in the Shungite? Tell us more.
So I've been an artist all my life. I have often lived off-grid. I brought my son up off-grid too. And one of the things he wished when he was younger was, why couldn't mum just go and get a normal job? And why can't we just go and live in a house? And he is 25 now, and he totally loves what we're doing. He really appreciates the journey that he's been on.
How did you get interested in Shungite among all these other gemstones that exist? You know, why Shungite?
So the reason why Shungite didn't really didn't come to me straight away, but through my journey, it became like the clues really kind of lit up. And one of the things about Shungite is, I'm going to hold the molecule.
Yes.
So this is called a C60 or a fullerene molecule. And actually, my connection to this molecule goes back way, way, way before I found Shungite. So I actually was working with this shape as an artist.
But it has a geometric shape, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
it does.
Yes.
Yeah. It is. It is a full, the football shape.
Yes.
And it is made up of hexagons and pentagons.
Mm-hmm.
So it was designed in the modern time by Robert Buckminster Fuller.
Okay.
But being an artist, I've actually spotted this in Da Vinci's work and in other work, going way back hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yes. Because at that time, the scientists use a lot of geometry. And I'm so interested that you are interested in that. You found that. So tell us more.
So when I discovered this in my early 20s, I decided that I wanted to make my own marquees. And so I did. And I made them with broom handles, bamboo, all sorts of things. And I then started altering the shape and making my own shape, because to make a marquee with this geometry, you need 64 poles. And so what I was able to do was go back to the drawing board and actually make one with 25, which was much easier to put up. had more usable space in a way. And so that's how I've kind of brought my inventing head to this shape. And then when I was working as an artist, I would use my shape with when I was working with academics to display the walk-in sculptures that I was designing. And then one day, when I was working with the head of oncology, it turned out that he wasn't that interested in curing people. And that really, really was shocking to me. And so I went home and I really thought hard about what I was doing because I really want to help people. And so I prayed and I said, please, God, will you put my creativity to use? I really want to help people. And I couldn't, in my heart, go back to that work with the academics. And so I closed down my studio. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I just drove into the sunset. And literally, because I lived in the van, I was able to do that.
Yeah.
And during that time, by opening up the void, clearing the desk, clearing everything out, I created this void for the new thing to come in. And that's what happened. And that's when I started listening to Nancy Hopkins's radio show and going, wow, what is this shungite? So I ordered some from her website, came from America. It was quite expensive for me. I couldn't really afford it. And then there were import tax, and it was a little bit out of my price range. But what struck me was it wasn't beautiful. Shungite generally, if I hold up a couple of pieces, I've got some here. Generally, shungite just isn't that pretty. I mean, this is a polished piece and it's made into a lovely heart. Or we have the rarer.
Okay, so it's quite black for the audience who are listening. Yeah, it's quite black.
It's black, and it doesn't keep its shine if it's the polished stone. It goes very matte. Yeah. And so a lot of the things at the time, 8, 9, 10 years ago, they all looked like they were coming from the same factory, and it really was quite plain. And it's interesting that Buckminster Fuller, if we go back to Buckminster Fuller here, one of the things that he said was when he's working on a solution, when he's working on a problem, if the solution isn't beautiful, he knows it's not right. And so this was me going, we could really do so much and make it so beautiful that not only do people want to have it themselves because they've looked into it and they know what it does, but actually because it's beautiful. And they'd want to give it to their friends and family if it was more beautiful as well. And so this is where I've been able to make really stunning, beautiful pieces that you wouldn't know that they were really good for your health, EMF busting, reversing the toxic, harmful chemicals around us, purifying the water, reducing inflammation. They're antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, antihistamine, repairing the energy field and making us stronger and healthier. But it's just a pretty pendant. And yet it does all those things. So that was me picking up on, okay, this is my creativity's come into this space. And so Rich and I, my fiance, we really we hadn't worked with resins before. We hadn't worked with these materials before. And I had it in my mind, now there's this really shiny, beautiful stuff. And I think that would work really well. So I set off to the craft supplies and came back with this stuff and started playing with it. And we were in a place where we could have a donation table, and people would put their money in the donation pot at the end of their weekend. And I'd go to the pot and go, wow, people really, really love what I'm doing. And it's grown out of that. And now we have stock in shops around the world. People are wholesaling and getting things for Christmas. So yeah, we're really busy, but it's the testimonials that are coming back that are keeping us going, and it's changing people's lives and really, And I just think my prayers have come true and my creativity is really helping people.
Wow, that is incredible, the journey you've been and what you are doing. And I love that you share that when you know that something is wrong, you said that at the beginning, that we need to stop and look back, because this is not what we need to be doing. And that is so true. We so often keep pushing forward, even if something is not right, without giving ourselves the space and stepping back and leave it to the universe, to create something better. And this is what you did. And these are the amazing things that you are doing. And not only you did that, but so many of the well-known researchers, they used to spend time using their imagination, not forcing things, letting the ideas come from the creator, from the source, and guiding them, not leading from their head, but living from their heart space. Yeah, I love that you said that. Thank you so much. And I am for the audience, because for me it was something really new when I met you at the shop and I found Shungite, what you are doing, and I started asking you questions, and you very kindly gifted your book to me that the reader can find, which is called Shungite, Expect Miracles. And I thank you so much for that. And for me, I didn't know about Shungite. So where do you go and find these stones, the Shungite? Where do you go? Where do you source them from? And can you tell us why you think Shungite has remained a mystery for so long, despite all the great properties, the remarkable properties?
Yeah, so Shungite often gets lumped in, if you like, with a lot of crystal fellas and that kind of thing. And to be a bit of a pedant about it, it's technically not a crystal. It's a mineraloid that breaks all the rules. And so this is where my research really kind of dug into, where does it come from, and who's really, researched it. And what I found was there's only one place in the world it comes from where this molecule has been certified to be in the stone. And that's a place called Karelia, or a village called Shunga. So that's where the name Shungite comes from. And that's on the border of Finland and Russia. So yes, it's been a bit tricky over the last few years to source Shungite, but there are other places that are working with Shungite from that place, and we're able to access those trade routes, which have opened up since Russia has been a little bit closed down for shipping. There is talk of fake Shungite coming from China or wherever, but what you can do is you can actually use your screen on your phone, and if the Shungite goes onto you tap it onto an app, it will open an app or scroll your screen. There's a nice flat piece, nice bit of surface area, a bit like your thumb. Then you've got a really nice piece of raw genuine Shungite. What we are doing with Shungite is we are liquefying silver and adding that to the Shungite powder. And we have verified that our Shungite powder is real by passing a current through it, and it lit up an LED. So we know that our stuff is the real Shungite anyway. But why we're adding the silver is really important. And we learned this from Nancy Hopkins, as I mentioned before. And the silver naturally wants to migrate into the Shungite if it's on the Shungite anyway. And we're just speeding up the natural process by liquefying it. And what we're finding is the effects are a much, much stronger effect on your energy system, your physical strength. So if you're arm wrestling with your children, you actually can really do it without having to expel a lot of energy. So if you arm wrestle without the Shungite and then with the Shungite, you literally can feel a massive difference in your core strength. We have testimonials where people have used normal Shungite on their pets and then used one of our special silver activated Shungite collars, and the effects of the healing for the animals has been tenfold in a week. And so this is where it's really surprising people, the difference. And what we often do, if I show you with these stones, is we get people playing with Shungite and just moving them around in their hands. And they will often describe it as if they're playing with magnets.
Right. Okay.
And then I will give them the silver activated Shungite, and what happens is they go, oh, it feels stronger or more magnetic. What's actually happened is their energy field got stronger. And you can literally feel the difference between not silver activated and silver activated. And that's why we really focus on doing this process and then making all of our products and our toggles for purifying the water. Everything that we do, we like to do with the silver activated. So yeah, does that cover that question okay?
Yes. And you did cover the question, yes. And why do you think it has remained a mystery for so long?
Oh yeah, so the mystery.
Yes.
The mystery. Well, a lot of it has to do with this molecule.
Okay.
So this molecule that's found in shungite, this is the molecule that just is so contradictory in a way. And this is what makes shungite very confusing for people. So this molecule is the largest molecule that's ever been found that does quantum entanglement.
Okay.
And it also has a vacuum inside it. And so it collects free radicals and it can turn free radicals into more useful things in the body, as well as sucking in the heavy metal particles. So it's a massive detox miracle molecule. But it also is antihistamine, and antihistamines repair the myelin sheath on your nervous system. It's antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial. So this is where it's able to really assist the body with bacterial infection, fungal infection. If you're breathing in the shungite water, it's curing COPD. You can use it on your skin for arthritis because it's anti-inflammatory. So a lot of people with ME, MS, electrosensitivity, they're getting really rapid recovery because the shungite is healing the nervous system by working with the fullerene molecule.
Right. That's really wonderful to hear. And does that mean just wearing the necklaces or also using the powder?
So this is both work.
Okay.
When you're wearing, see, this is one of the things. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words because there's so
No,
many
you
to
are
get.
doing so well. You are, oh my God, I love your passion and I'm so interested in the shungite since I met you. Yes.
So, one of the things that I learned from one of the books from before was that Dr. Andreevsky he writes about shungite in terms of it's able to work the whole field, but also work as a photon or a beam, if you like, a particle beam. And so when shungite's working your whole electrical field, that's where it's working, you know, the frequencies and the toxicity around you. But if there's a particular like achy, arthritic hand, it's able to work directly with the cells that are damaged. And it doesn't matter whether you're working with the balm on the outside or if you're rubbing the stone on the outside or you're using the stones like this, or if you want to go really deep inside, you can use a pyramid because the beam is really, really focused and accentuated. So this is where it's able to be an adaptogen. It's intelligent and it's able to work out which cells are damaged, which ones need to be reversed, and which one needs to be boosted with that quantum energy.
Wow. I thank you so much for sharing, for explaining all that, because I'm sure the audience, this is the first time they might be hearing of Shanghai, like for me, and I'm so glad I met you because definitely I've got the one that you gave me. I put on my laptop I put it on my bottle. So yes, I am really I don't know, I am fascinated by this stone since I met you. And I would like to, sorry, go on, Cassie.
One of the things that a lot of people haven't quite got their heads around is how it's able to work without touching things. So I'll just take a moment to just explain that there's a little bit of controversy on the shungite topic currently, and I like to bring the clarity because we've done the scientific testing on the water, and what happened was there's people talking about the shungite putting heavy metals into the water. And what the scientists have done is they've only used the shungite in the water to measure and create their scientific results from. And so as we understood that shungite was able to work on the outside of containers. So when I bought the water analysis equipment, I used the shungite on the outside of the vial by placing the water toggle with our band that we invented round the outside, as well as capturing the water at the touch of the shungite. When we then put the vials in the Palantest water analysis equipment, what happened was the numbers on the machine were going up faster when the shungite hadn't touched the water, because the silver activated shungite was breaking apart the molecules of the chlorine and the fluoride faster. And so it looked like there was more chlorine in the water, when in fact, there was no way there could be more chlorine in the water. And so this is where scientists are getting false results and coming to a conclusion that is not quite correct. And this is how mind-boggling shungite is, that it can work in such a way that it doesn't even need to touch the water. So when you're working with scientific processes, you have to design your experiment in a way that you can capture much more of the story than just running the water over the shungite. That's only half the story, because one of the studies found that when they scratched the surface, and in a scientific way actually looked into the shungite stone, they didn't find any of the impurities in the stone. And that's where they're like, well, how did it purify the water if it's not absorbing? And that's because the common misconception is because shungite's a carbon, it will absorb the impurities. And so this is where shungite is breaking apart the molecules. And what happens is their chemical bonds are broken. And what we documented was they were broken for a full 5 days. And then on the 5th day, they started coming back together. And this is where the experiment turned from pure, clear, crystal clear water and started yellowing to show us that the chlorine molecules were starting to become active. But if you're drinking your shungite water on day 1, it's gone through your body and passed out, on day 2. So there's no chance of the chlorine activating in your body. And the other testimonial we have that links to that this has happened is in a gentleman that had underactive thyroid for 30 years. Within 3 months, the doctor pulled him in for routine thyroid check. They had to reduce his thyroxine by 1/3. And what happens when you're drinking water that's been chlorinated, it stops your thyroid working. And so what happened to him was his water had been nullified with the chlorine, his thyroid starts working. Now, apparently, underactive thyroid never is cured and only gets worse. Yeah, so this is a miracle.
Yes, yeah. Wow, that is fascinating, that stone, the magical powers of the stone. And linked to that, I wanted to ask you if you can share with us, because this stone doesn't seem to come from Earth. So would you share with us whether, if you can elaborate on that connection, if there is a connection between shungite and the prophesied extraterrestrial blue glowing explosion that you mentioned in your book?
So yeah, there's a common theory that shungite came as a meteorite.
Wow.
And so in my book, I explore the main common themes of its origins, and the reason why people are associating the shungite being a meteorite is because, again, of the fullerene molecule. And so this fullerene molecule is often found at meteorite crash sites or strange electrical phenomena.
Okay.
And where it is, there's actually 9 layers of shungite and earth to a depth of about 400 to 800 feet. And the fullerene molecules are found abundantly in space, so they're seen through the Hubble telescope. So this is where people are linking those two things and then saying it's a meteorite.
Yeah.
I don't think it is a meteorite. I think it's much more mysterious than that because of the 9 layers and the width. 2/3 the size of London is one quote on how big the deposit is.
Right.
And so I'm still I'm still on the curious side of the mystery, and also some of the Russian scientists who have been researching Shungite, they're not all on the same page on this. And one of them, his quote is that he thinks it's even older than the Earth and even older than the Big Bang, because he's so mysterious.
Yes, I definitely believe it doesn't come from Earth. It could be some extraterrestrial being brought it on Earth, because our planet didn't only have human beings, It's the history is much, much deeper, much more than we realize, So there were other beings. If you look at Egypt, the pharaohs, at the Sphinx and all that. So I believe it must have been brought from another dimension to help them, to help human beings in their healing, because they were very good, these extraterrestrial beings, in healing themselves,
Yep, I can add a little bit more to
Please, go ahead.
the other dimensional aspect.
Yes.
So I've done a little bit of research into torsion field physics with the help of a lovely chap called Michel. And he was just really great at bringing me the right information at the right time. And what he's brought is that the fastest something spins in nature has the ability to access other dimensions. And what's interesting about this fullerene molecule is it's the fastest molecule that's ever been measured, at 20 to 30 billion times revolutions per second. And so that's in matter. So if we've got our Shungite stones and there's one of these in there, and that's quantumly connected to other dimensions and accessing all the frequencies that you possibly need, might be missing. It's, breaking apart the chemical molecules. This is where this molecule is certainly got more of a mystery and more of a story to tell us. And there have been times when I have literally been woken up by someone wanting to talk to me about Shungite and showing me some of the things that it's able to do, and taking me on very extraordinary journeys to bring this knowledge to you. So yes, there is certainly another dimension at play here, and someone so loving and kind, and he has a very good sense of humour.
That's beautiful. And did you ask where does that being come from? Which planet is that being coming to guide you, to help you on that journey?
I don't think it's a planet. I think the quantum realm is a much more mysterious and loving place that the Creator God lives in than naming it as a planet.
Yeah. Wow. I hope you continue to get messages from those beings, because they are coming here to help humanity, to awaken us. And this is a great time of a lot of people are awakening. It's a time of ascension, of really understanding who we are, where we come from, where we are going. It's such an important time that we are in. Cassie, it's so interesting talking to you, and I love the depth of your spirituality. And yes, and that's why we connected. I didn't know you, but it's like as if I knew you on that day, on that day that we met.
Absolutely. I've just got one more thing to share with you about this.
Go ahead, please.
And it is linked to my birthday. So I was very intrigued about Robert Buckminster Fuller a little bit more as I was just finishing my book and just getting the last kind of gems and bits in there. And I thought, oh, what is his birthday? And when I looked it up, it's the 12th of July. And my birthday is also the 12th of July. And so no wonder I've been so entangled with him and his work, and Shungite coming to me and having this, connection, and being just so passionate about it. It's stubborn isn't quite the right word, but I just can't let it go. I just have to keep working with it. And so as I say to people, sometimes you go to a job interview and sometimes you get born to do something. Yes. And that's how I feel about it. That's just, it's my life. I'm getting on with it, and I'm just, those messages come through all the time. I put people's parcels together, and if I get that message, oh, they need that. Okay, they haven't ordered it. Well, it goes in anyway. You know, this is the abundance of Shungite and the spirit, and the abundance of giving. You know, it's I'm abundant in energy, and that allows me to be so abundant in my creativity and the proliferation of my work. But it allows me to be abundant with the people that come and find us. And in my time, I seem to be able to fit just about everything in. I don't know quite how.
I think when we have a passion to help humanity, you know, it's like we find the time to do so many things. We get the energy from the universe, you know, to get everything done through our day. And I've got people telling me that, how do I get to do all these things and have a full-time job, do the podcast, do the healing with clients, and and still have time for myself, you know, in all that. And my other question to you, Cassie, is what would you say? Because I know you haven't had an easy childhood, you know, you experienced some challenging situations when you were young. So what would you like to tell people? And if you can share about that when I ask you that other question, what would you tell people who are facing some tough times at this time?
Yeah. I happen to be the oldest child of 7 children. And my parents split up as well. And then she had the 6 children with her second husband, my mum did. And she was sadly a damaged lady, and grew up in the hippie communities. And so there's a lot of boundaries that were missing. And really quite difficult. And so where I came to my understanding of why I'm here, it's really that I've been born to see the transition from slavery to freedom. That's how I see what's about to happen to humanity, is whether it's the slavery from ill health, from the Wi-Fi, from poor quality water, poisoned water, you know, however we want to view God's essence in that water. You know, it's about what we need to be here to be our best. The frequencies that we're being inhibited from experiencing, the unlocking of our DNA. This is where the Shungite helps us in all of those aspects. It helps us heal the trauma from ancestral trauma, and releases us. And because our energy field is then, it can't be suppressed. Something with a vacuum in, you can't suppress it. When you have the Shungite in your energy field, you can't be suppressed. And this is where we are filled with the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of the Creator, the Spirit of why we're meant to be here. And there's been people that have been on our journey with us for a little while, and their lives transform. Their voices become animated. They become so full of energy. I'm thinking of one lady in particular, and you know, she's really striving forth in her community. A year ago, she'd describe herself as having ME. You know, there've been people in wheelchairs that have really been getting, you know, lower and lower in their energy and their depression. And they then tell me within a couple of weeks, they're back gardening and shopping and cleaning and living their lives. And it's like, wow, if my bit of creativity with this Shungite can do that, I'm going to keep doing it. There is nothing that's going to stop me. And so the energy is there, and that's my drive in the morning. I wake up and I say my thank yous, and I just get on with it. And that's my job. The more I can get it out there, then the happier I am at the end of the day. And so it is about the transformation that we are going through as a collective humanity, where we've been suppressed for generation after generation, and we are the generation that are here to witness it. And part of that witnessing is, through our eyes. They're 98% water. And I think the spirit of our Creator is in our eyes and in water. And that's why we can't live without it. And that's why I think it's poisoned so much, and that's where it's I feel like it's a personal mission to get the Shungite water toggles out to people to purify their water, because so many people say, "Oh, I don't like drinking water. It's not very nice." We should love to drink water. It's what sustains us. We can't live without it more than or we can't. It's just it's just simple as we cannot be here without it. And so this is where we are here to see the transition and to perceive the evils that have been done to humanity, the segregation of classes, or however we see each other, is just going to vanish. And and I've just got so many more projects that are coming on a global scale that I'm looking forward to sharing with people in the future. And I just want to say, I'm really loving working with the fabrics, putting the Shungite into fabrics, and just there's so much more creativity that we can just bring together. And I want to go back into teaching and open up a school where people can come and create their own Shungite fabrics, their own jewelry, and I can just go, yep, you're amazing. This is how you do it, and have people enjoy it with musicians in the background playing and people getting healed, being able to bathe in Shungite water, and have Shungite rooms, and the Shungite pyramids could be healing them if they've had strokes, which I've been working with. This is my dream. And this is where the Shungite is really going to open up and create us a center for people to come and be healed and inspired and grow their creativity. So this is the whole thing about society, is people have been the money is so much more important that they can't create that space to be creative. But if we could open up a Shungite center where people could come, bring their children, have a mini holiday, and have creative times with their family, that is my wish. Anyone who wants to come and help me do it, please get in touch.
Cassie, it's been a pleasure listening to all the great things you've been sharing. I am very honored to have you on the podcast. And that is so true. May all your wishes come true, in the future. Definitely, because we have the ability to heal ourselves. And these stones are here to help us to heal, We are not meant to be sick. We are meant to be healthy. So I would highly recommend people and to look into your website. And can you tell us how can people reach out to you?
So our main website is oraphimshungite.com. We have the Facebook Oraphim. We have the Instagram Oraphim UK. And my phone number is on the website. If you do want to give me a shout, then please do. And we're in the busy season of getting everyone's orders out to them. So there's lots of creativity and making, but we're hoping to invite some new people to join the core team to develop this work and deliver this work even more than I can. So please get in touch and get your order in, and we will add more things to what you order, because that's just the nature of abundance, is the giving nature, and we just can't help it. So.
I love that because I bought a few things with you and I got a gift in that, and I was very surprised, and I say that is really, really, I was very grateful to receive that and very appreciative of it, of any piece of Shungite. I got a little piece of soap, which I really love, and I'm going to take with me to give to my dad, because my dad has skinny shoes. So yeah. So Cassie, what final words would you like to share with the audience today before we finish?
I think to just reflect what you were saying about the body's natural ability to heal. When I was recently reflecting on how is Shungite doing this, the reflection and the words that I got back was, what the Shungite is doing is by shifting your electrical field into the frequencies of heaven. That's where the toxicity of the world aren't then affecting the body. And that's how it's able to heal itself. Because that's the key. Once the body is not dealing with the toxins, the body heals itself. And while the Shungite is dealing with the toxins, the body heals. And that is ultimately how I believe it's doing it. And this is where the science, there's only so much science is going to keep looking at things and go, oh, it does it. And that's the key. It's really bringing the frequencies of your body to just hold at bay, hold away the toxins so that your body can heal and then experience the joy and abundance and allow you to find your passions and your inner path because you're quantumly entangled with the quantum realm, with each other, with your children, with your friends, with the resonance of people that you resonate with. And then they start coming into your lives so much faster because you're not being suppressed by the depression, the toxic thoughts. You're able to go into the observer role and go, oh, if I don't like that, that means I can wish for something else. And that wish through the fullerene molecule is generated in your heart space, which is the pentagon. And then it is funneled through your grounding space, which is the hexagon. And you see both your heart and your grounding chakras or energy centers are in the fullerene. And that's why it's so powerful working with our wishes, our prayers, and our heart's desires, because it's grounding them. You are the spirit that made it into a human body, that made it to Earth, that is living here in these times, that are being transformed by the frequencies of the Shungite. 10 days before the first lockdown, a blue glowing ball came in and it exploded over the top of the Shungite. And the frequency of Shungite then started raising up and up and up and up and up. And because every grain of Shungite around the planet is quantumly entangled with that mother lode at Corellia, that's where the frequency of the planet started changing. And the blue star Kachina, prophecy of the Hopi, was when the blue star Kachina arrives, the world will change. And the second week of lockdown, when we were still learning how to do things online, we had 200 orders.
Wow.
So, yes, the world did change.
Wow.
And this is where we've just grown from that. And so that would be my kind of like, yeah, you are here entering into the new frequencies of a very high frequency planet, and you're here to experience that. And if you've been drawn to Shungite today, that's no accident. It is your calling, and it is your connection to your higher frequencies and your divine guidance. So just tap into that and really just keep saying your thank yous and see what opens up to you, because your life can just transform so rapidly.
Cassie, thank you so much for sharing these final words and for taking your time to be on the podcast. I really hope the audience would look into that, because I am using the Shungite. I've got my necklaces, the water, and I am really amazed by it. I don't know why, but it's like my intuition telling me, that there is something good in that. We feel it. We are more than just this body. So I would like to say huge thank you to you, Cassie, for this beautiful sharing today, and wishing you all the best. A lot of success ahead with what you are doing with helping humanity to raise their consciousness through Shungite. And thank you to the audience for watching, sharing, and subscribing. And final words. Yes, you were saying something, Cassie.
No, just want to say thank you so much for having the time with me today.
You are very welcome. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Bye.